SJ. Welcome to Mvskoke Radio, your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar. SJ Stongo, Gary Five Jaho Jifkidas. Welcome to Mvskoke Radio here on Town The Brew, 1240 AM and 106.3 FM, The Brew, here in beautiful, chilly Okmulgee. We've got a couple things we'll be sharing with you today. We want to talk to a friend of ours, Siobhan A.G., who's a program manager and at the Cultural and Archives program here for the tribe. And in the second segment, we'll have our colleague Kalia Berry coming in to talk with Lady Legends here going on with the Mvskoke Creek Nation. So we'll have a lot to share with you. But first of all, welcome, Siobhan. We appreciate you making time and coming in. And
Thanks for having me.
Getting a little busy for you, is it?
Yeah, we have spring break activities going on at the council house this week. So we've been running back and forth, making sure we have everything prepared. And then we have the art market kicking off next month, and then pretty soon we'll have festivals. So we need to decide what all type of activities we'll offer there. So everything's about to come all at once.
Wow. For folks who aren't familiar with your program, why don't we start there, cultural and preservation and archives. Is that, first of all, is that correct? And what do y'all do?
Okay, we're a cultural center and archives. We get confused a lot with Raylan Butler and their group, the Cultural Preservation, but our department's over the council house. We also operate Red Stick Gallery, which is the gift shop, have all items made by Mvskoke artists. We're also over the collection, which was previously the council house collection before it was turned over to the nation. We also do a lot of outreach. John, he's always out and about on travel or in different schools or organizations. And then we work a lot with our artists too. So we're the main department over the art market, Mvskoke art market, and then we also have a small committee that helps with that.
So you're one of our main outlets for Creek artists and
yes.
And preservationists. The center is like the council house, rather, is like the flagship,
right,
for Mvskoke culture and for people who come to visit our area and want to know more. And the activities in it have been increasing, we've seen, since it opened.
Right.
And your crew got settled into their tasks. First of all, you've got a number of cultural demonstrations and things going on, as you said a little earlier. It's usually outside, but with this weather, It's not a good idea.
With this spring break or winter break, it's so cold. We've had to move everything inside. But, we tried to, since it seems like COVID shut us down for a couple of years, so we've really tried to gear up things inside and listen to, what are some things that people want to do inside the council house or on the lawn. So I feel like the corn nest dolls are always popular. We actually did storytelling yesterday with Mvskoke language and Cassandra Thompson, and that went over really well. It's always good to have Mahia, Gracine, and Becky Barnett and Philip came, and they all told stories, and the kids were very interactive. So it's nice to have a place where we can have activities like that.
Yeah, Becky is my Mahia for my classes, and she's really good.
Yes, she is.
She makes it fun, too. So
right.
You have to stay awake and pay attention. Now, most of these activities are geared around culture.
Right.
I don't know if you want to say renaissance, relearning, polishing, showing off, being proud of kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I presume that's got a intermission there. Like, what is it that you're hoping to do with culturally based activity like this?
I think educate people, but also find somebody that wants to learn more or further. Maybe they want to learn more about weaving. I mean, Mary Smith, she's one of her and Brittany Qualves. I mean, they're one of the main basket makers. And Mary's mentioned she's getting up there, and so she really needs someone to mentor. So if there's anyone out there that would be interested, I mean, she loves to teach. Mary is a teacher. So I mean, we need people coming up that will want to take these cultural arts and improve their skill with them so that they can start teaching others as well, because they won't be here forever to teach us. So
Right, yeah, and we lost some of them during the COVID.
right,
outbreak. So
yeah,
it's cultural treasures that can never be
right.
replaced.
And we did put in a grant last year for like a creative arts council or a creative arts center, a collection space, and welcome center. We won't know if we received it until next month, but the idea there is to have the classroom setting where we can have them come in and teach weaving or pottery, a wood shop area for John to teach, foot napping or ball stake making. So that would be a game changer. So fingers crossed that we do receive that. I think it'll help us a lot with our arts and then research into our collection.
A couple questions here about audience reaction and feedback. First of all, what kind of attendance are you all seeing at these classes?
We've had about anywhere usually from 15 to 20 people. And so we usually, when we have, an instructor come, they usually bring enough supplies for 20. Sometimes they'll push it to 30, but we see about average of 15 or 20. Usually in the summertime, the attendance is more for these classes. So, but I mean, it's been pretty good. I mean, there's a pretty good crowd.
And it's manageable, so it's
Right. Yes, it is. Yeah, we have a small staff anyway, so it is. Yeah, it is manageable for the teacher and our staff.
all right. Now, the second question is the importance of these relearning or retaining these arts. What are your thoughts there? I mean, we've all known that, of course, as our populations decrease or increase or whatever, the interests, who's that, whistling? Huddley there. The importance of relearning and retaining these things. Why do you think it's so important?
I think it's just important that we keep hold of our traditions, our cultural art traditions. I want to be able to teach my little ones. I mean, my dexterity in my hands, I say, is not very good, but to bring them to classes to learn with Mary Smith or, Brittany Qualves or even the Beavers when they come. We learn from the wise ones, so, we need to start there with them, and then they need to teach us, and one day when they're not here, we need to be prepared to step up and teach others as well.
Right. You don't want to just end up in a museum or something.
No,
like that.
yeah, we want to be thriving, we want to be living. So.
Speaking of museums, do you have any collaboration with the First Americans Museum in Oklahoma City?
No, we haven't yet, and that's something that we've talked with tourism about, like maybe there's something there that we could meet up with them. We've been to Smithsonian's NMAI in past years, so I'm not sure if they could be open to something like that where we come up there and do some demonstrations, bring artists up there, maybe several of our departments to come.
Yeah. Well, they darn sure better.
Yeah.
I have a friend or two who works there, and I'll drop something in their ears if I can. So,
Yeah.
One of the biggest tribes in the state, and you guys got very little. You got the flashy Plains tribes, but these are the folks that have really worked to be such an important part of the state's culture.
Right,
Oklahoma.
especially in the southeastern, or this side of Oklahoma.
Now, archives. Now, you have this responsibility of retaining and protecting archives. First of all, when we say that word, what are we talking about? What is it? A collection? What do you have?
Yeah, there's anything from manuscripts, newspapers, documents, more like items, clothing. We have a lot of guns in the collection space. So it's anything that was in the council house, and I'd say probably about 40% of it isn't Mvskoke Creek. I mean, when it was ran under the city or the 501c3, it was just a hodgepodge of items. But that is stored right now. We haven't. I mean, we make sure it's in a safe facility, but we really need a place to house the collection and have it accessible to the citizens.
Right, I understand it's in a undisclosed place at the moment. We'll keep it that way.
Oh,
And it's been there for what, a few years now. And
well, since 2013 when we went and got it, when it was on the auction block,
Yeah,
we packed it
yeah.
up and brought it back, and it was supposed to be there temporarily. But I mean, it just needs to be, just the space that it needs to be. I mean, the humidity, just the climate control of it. It needs. We just need a perfect space for it to go, a place for it to be accessible to citizens. And so that's part of the grant that we applied for, a collection space, a research area. So the parts of it that can be accessible, we do want for citizens to have
right,
access
and
to.
it has to be suitable, as you say.
Right.
Climate control, lights, security, things
Right.
like that.
Right.
I've seen parts of it when it was in its storage space, and had the privilege of picking up one of the weapons.
Yeah, I remember those pictures when you came. Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. You know, a Civil War musket with a bayonet on it. And when I had it in my hands, you know, you could almost feel that energy
Right.
of something that played such an important part in our history and culture and hopefully future. But
Right.
thinking, my God, we got to put this up somewhere
Right.
that's can be shared. You know, it's like,
We can share. We can learn. We have artists that want to come to the collection space, but there's just little room to move around and for them to be able to actually research and look at items. So we're hoping to have a space where they can do that because we need it.
yeah, there was talk about using this former department store across the street from the council house. Is that still kicking around?
Yeah.
I understand
it's-
it's got to have a lot of rehab, but
Right, yeah, it has a lot of rehab, and if we were looking at using federal dollars, but to do that, you have to go through the State Historic Preservation Office, and everything has to be how it was historically, and that increased the price.
yeah.
So we have to look at different avenues of how we'll use that space.
Okay. Any idea or speculation about how long that will take?
I do not know.
You don't want to stick your neck out.
Yeah, we've talked about it because it was just kind of recently and during COVID when we were talking to SHPO. I'm like, if you guys could just come look at the building and see, it'll be hard to get all because they wanted us to get all the metal tiles down and if we can reuse them, but if they could just come look at the space to see what it looked like, to see how difficult it would be. And at that time, they weren't getting out of the office to come look at things. So maybe that's something that we can visit for them to come look at.
Does asbestos play a role in it, unfortunately?
I'm not 100% sure. I can tell you mold does.
Yeah. Gosh. Building that old and sitting there kind of unused for such a long time would
Yeah.
end that way. Now, we've hit on the collection and things like that, art and materials from our past that are so important. But you've got this major event coming up next month.
Right. We've got about a month and a week away from the second annual Mvskoke Art Market at River Spirit. Last year we had a great event. We received all positive reviews. We're asking for negative reviews so we know what to improve on. That this year it'll be April 22nd and 23rd, and we went from 60 artists to now we have about 82, 83 artists.
Wow.
So we have several that it's their first art market to be able to participate in, and then most of them they've been part of the Mvskoke Art Market before, and they've been to Santa Fe Indian Market, Heard Museum. They've been to Cherokee Art Market, so a lot of them are in the fine arts, and this isn't new to them. So they are experiencing. So hopefully a lot of our artists that maybe it is their first time or maybe they're looking to apply next year, they can see just exactly the work that goes into these type of art markets.
Now, when we say fine arts and things like that, I usually get a vision of just really finely executed paintings and
Right.
sculpture and things like that. Is that kind of where you're going, or is it much broader than that?
I mean, we have everything from textiles to beadwork, like diverse art. We have photography. We have baskets. So it's a broad spectrum of artwork.
Okay, well, I think of more contemporary arts. I think of some of the more unusual, kind of humorous sometimes.
Yeah.
Projects or exhibits. You know, when the COVID first came along and people started wearing masks, I kept thinking, how long is it going to be before we start seeing beaded, face masks?
Yeah.
And sure enough, bingo, there they were, and quite elaborate and things like that. Do you have anything that kind of stretches the boundaries there? I remember a really effective exhibit I saw in Alaska once that had this guy working with contemporary materials but producing traditional native figures and arts. In other words, I think the one that struck me the most was he did a mask of a walrus.
Oh, wow.
But he used hubcaps and the two spouts from oil cans, you know, those where you punch it in and board. Those were the tusks. And I'm thinking, my God, where did he come up with such a brilliant idea? Do you have anything that really kind of, or is it too early to tell anything?
Well, going just by off last year, like we have Dan Corley, he's a Cherokee artist, and he does a lot of mask making. So he'll have different masks that he's painted and designed, and he'll be back this year. Trying to think more like pop culture. So Emerson Diacon, who is Johnny Diacon's son, he was part of the Comic-Con at First Americans Museum this past Saturday, and he was accepted into the art market. So there's also some pop culture to it. I know a lot of people do some spin-offs of Star Wars in their prints and paintings, so I think there's something for everyone.
That used to be a real hobby of mine. I had about 4 Star Wars uniforms.
Oh, right, yeah. I remember you in the parade with
that was fun. Yeah. Now, you mentioned masks a little earlier, and that brought thought to my mind there that sometimes you have to be careful with that stuff. I know the Cherokees are real particular about masks and things like that, and what you should and you shouldn't be doing, and how you treat them and things. Do you have any concerns like that with artists bringing something that kind of makes you stop and think about it a couple times? I mean, a little scary perhaps? Or...
Well, we have certain guidelines that have been vetted through, and a lot of these artists are experienced in the art markets, and they usually go by the same criteria, so they know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Okay, but have you had to turn anybody down for going over the line?
Not yet. Knock on wood. So this is our second year, so we'll see. Hopefully not.
Okay, well that's cool. As we look at the world of native art, we see such expansion, and crops of students coming out of the Institute for American Indian Arts in Santa Fe and other places around the country coming up with such an innovative kind of thing. Are you seeing a lot of seniors still participating, or is it becoming more of a youth kind of a market?
I'd say it's a mixture because we do have like the five family.
Who? The five?
Yeah. It's like the matriarch. Yeah, they're all involved, but then we also have like a younger generation of well, like I said, Emerson Diacon. I think George Alexander, he graduated from IAIA. So it's a wide range of those that have been in the art for 30-some years, and those who maybe just 10 to 20 years.
You listening, Sandy, fellas? We have in recent years seen a problem with people coming up with fakes or IDs, heritage that wasn't true but false. And the feds cracked down, or supposedly,
Right.
saying you've got to prove it before you can say it. Do you have any rules or anything like that, or any vetting system to kind of weed out the fakes?
Well, they do have to have, when they applied, they have to have their citizenship card included with the federally recognized tribe with their application packet. And so as we were going through the applications, we did make sure if they didn't have it, then we either asked for them to submit it, and if they didn't, then we just put that application off to the side.
So if anyone comes in and say, well, I'm with the Spirit Water Cherokees of Oregon, then you're thinking, well, maybe that ain't quite as
Right, yeah.
true. Yeah, my wife used to run into that when she worked for BAA.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And there actually was some guy that tried to pass his legitimacy off on a chief out of Spirit Water.
And we do notify the Indian Arts and Crafts Board of our events, and sometimes they'll send people out to
Really?
just look around. I don't know if that's the case for ours, but we did notify them and then also ask them to put with their different media outlets too.
It's so nice to see that the rules have tightened up and enforcement
Right.
is there. Excuse me.
Because a lot of time you'll have native inspired,
Oh,
native
God, yes.
inspired or their native ancestry, but doesn't mean you're necessarily an enrolled native. You could just be taking these Mississippian or southeastern designs and making your artwork. And to me, that's stealing from our native artists. That actually, this is a part of them. They can feel it in their energy when they make their I don't know if it's shell work or their painting or different types of jewelry. So I think those that say they're just native inspired, they just
Inspired, yeah.
inspired, yeah.
Yeah, I've run across that a lot in my profession. People saying, "Oh well, the Northern Chickamauga, Chippewas, or some absurd tribe they just made up."
Yeah.
Run across, and then you ask them, "Well, what's your language? What's your culture?" And, well, my parents were ashamed to, you hear
Yeah.
that story a lot.
Right.
Well, it's good to see that you're taking these kind of precautions that would protect the integrity of art.
Right, and we want to put ourselves. We're trying to get to a place where we're trying to set the bar for us so that others that come from out of state, this is a market that they want to show at. And we've had several, since the Heard Museum's, their art market was a couple weeks ago. I've had phone calls within the last couple of weeks to say, are you still accepting applications?
Yeah,
Because we just heard about it.
I wanted to ask you about that. I've seen some advertisements in some nationally based publications.
Right.
And things like that. So I guess its reputation and
Right.
fame, I quote, is growing. So have you, as you were starting to say there, you've seen that kind of reaction from the public?
Yeah, and it's nice because the other artists that have been part of the art market, they've shared their experience with the art market, and so a lot of times it's word of mouth, and that's how others are finding out. I know we had one artist last year said, well, it's the first art market, and I usually don't enter into other art markets. And then this year he applied and was accepted. So it's people like that were, glad that they were watching us, and we succeeded in our first art market. Now they want to be part of the second. And during the art market, we're also going to have, like, John will be doing some different demonstrations. We'll also have Raylan Butler will give a presentation. We're also going to have Dr. Laura Clark talk about contemporary art. So there'll also be some presentations during the art market as well.
We have seen a variety of artists show up. Some definitely would fit into that fine arts category, and others kind of a tourist market, shall we
Right.
kindly say.
Yeah.
What about the exhibits and the materials that show up in this one? Is it more of upper shelf kind of thing. I mean, I've gone through some shows where, a sculpture or a painting was way above my head, and income, my annual income.
Right.
And then other times, trinkets, little
I'd say
things
less.
like that. Where do you fit?
I'd say less trinkets, but there's a broad selection of. I mean, there are some that are. They have pieces that are, especially the sculptures or jewelry that I mean, they are pricey. It does take a different type of market there. But then we have some. They're still finely made, but I mean, it's also something that's I guess people are able to afford.
Yeah, I was going to say, average folks could afford and have something to take home.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, well, I tell you what. Now, Ed, has your department got anything else on its agenda there that you want to mention and share with us?
Not that I can think of. Oh, we are developing Mvskoke Arts Council with our artists. We were applied for. It's a small grant, but we were accepted with 5 or 6 other tribes, and so we've been working with that group for close to a year. And so our big meeting is when we're going to have with our artists is during the art market, so that we can get their ideas of what they want this arts council to be, what our mission wants to be. We have a good outline of things that we're doing. One is really starting an artist registry, but we really want to be a hub for our Mvskoke artists to stay connected, share ideas, but also be a place where we can learn and just a group where others can go if they want to know about Mvskoke art.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure there are going to be some people who are interested and want more information.
Right.
Possibly a few more artists who might want to apply.
Yeah, we have a waiting list, but they can apply.
Okay, now, to make an application, what do you have to do? What do you have to submit?
We have to submit the application, your citizenship card, and then examples of images of artwork that you would enter.
Okay, so you kind of know what you're getting into there.
Right, yeah.
All right. Well, if somebody wanted to give you a call, what's that number?
918-549-2434.
Okay. Well, Siobhan, is anything you want to add or something we haven't touched on here?
No, I think we hit about just on everything. If anyone's around, they can come for clay making, and Mary Smith will be teaching how to make pinch pots from 2 to 4 at the council house.
Okay. Will it be inside or out?
Probably inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't see them out there on the lawn, go knock on the door.
Right. Just come on in.
Okay, well, thank you, Mado, 2,000 Mados, for making time to come in. We appreciate your information there. We're going to take a short pause here, and then we'll be back, and we're going to talk about lady legends with our colleague, Kaylia Berry. And so please stay with us here on Mvskoke Radio, here on The Brew.
Hear that? That's the sound of hope being killed by meth. Methamphetamine use is causing huge problems in our community. Hear that? That's the sound of something you can do about it. Events like rodeo, res ball, and family time can help keep kids away from meth.
Talk to your kids. Keep our culture alive. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Learn more at ncai.org.
Who am I? Am I Indian? Just 'cause I'm a girl from the res, don't make things up about me. What if I move away? Then who am I? Some kids try meth just to escape, but then I think about my grandma, my little brother, my beadwork, my poetry, and I think, I like who I am, and I know meth is not for me.
Check out ncai.org, a message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Okay, we're back here on Mvskoke Radio, here on The Brew. We have our colleague, our intrepid reporter, Kaylia Berry, and she's got a crew of the Lady Legends, I understand. Is that correct? So give us a second here while we switch chairs, and we'll be off and running.
Okay, good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all doing this morning?
Fine.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, so can one of you just kind of tell me what the Lady Legends are about?
Okay, I guess I will start off. My name is Rita Williams, and currently, right now, the chairperson of the Mvskoke Lady Legends. And everybody kind of asked us how we all got started. And we got started in when Lucas Taylor had his first 6-on-6 original ballers. And that took place, I think, in 2018. And so it really started out as seeing that he had different categories, age categories. And so there was a 60 and over, or 50 and over, or 60 and over category. And I looked at that and I thought, boy, wouldn't it be kind of nice to get out in the court a little bit, knowing that our age would be, our drawback. But then it was all in fun. I think we did this on Facebook. And anyway, I was texting and I thought, who would really jump in on this? So I thought of Coco. She's always up for anything. So I text her and say, hey, they're having blah, 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 these categories. Could we get together? 70 and over, I think it was. We thought it then. And so then Bubbles jumped in. Rosanna, I'm sorry. Rosanna. And so we did this thing. And we were encouraged by George Tiger then, because he knew all of us. And it started out as a joke, but we initially told Lucas, we'd like to get in on this, and we're older. And he said, well, he dubbed us as the Legends. And then he put on Lady Legends. So that's how that got stacked. And we just kind of went from year to year. We didn't play in 2020 because of COVID. We enjoyed our fellowship together. And many of us that came together knew one another back during our running days or childhood days or church days or, whatever, as the community goes. And so anyway, that's kind of initially how we got started. We're comprised of women from now 60 and over. Our eldest we got 3 older ones that are with us and playing ball. We get on the court. Ages 3 of them are 80, 81. Our eldest is Sissy Lewis, who is 86 years old, and Lou Crowfoot. And they still get out there. It's just in their heart to do that. And so anyway, they all have had health difficulties. We have some that are cancer survivors, stroke victims, amputees. We cannot run up and down the court. We know that, but we just get out there. It's just the love and the camaraderie and the laughter that we share. And so from there, we kind of stayed together and organized as the Mvskoke, 60 and over Mvskoke Lady Legends. So anyway, I'll kind of let Coca go into the work, or that's what you...
Yeah, Coco, if you want to go ahead and share what else y'all do except for play on the basketball court, show off y'all skills.
Okay, thank you. Well, we prepare food, we purchase food. Everybody in the group kind of has their own expertise of what they can fix. Everybody knows who can fix what. And we work together in the kitchen. We pick up the food when we cook for funerals or whatever. Rita usually is the one to go pick up the voucher and get the food because we're called upon to help prepare the food or whatever. But we just all blend together. We're like one for all for one. We keep in contact with each other. We plan, we work, we serve, and most of all, we pray. Mm-hmm. We all pray together. And it's just a labor of love that we do, and we just enjoy doing what we can for the community, for the families. If somebody passes away, then they call on us if we can help cook or serve or whatever. And everyone in the group is willing, ready, and able to do whatever we can to help. So that's kind of what we do. So I'll turn it over to Rosanna and let her finish or say her part.
Okay, my name is Rosanna Bear. also known as Bubbles. And the events that we have done, there's quite a few of them. A lot of people just think that we just cook and serve at wakes and funerals and fundraisers. But when we first started, it was during COVID. We donated hygiene items and food to elders, and we distributed at the elderly housing during the COVID period. And we did this all from donations from all of our Lady Legends. Then we've cooked and served during Indigenous Day for the past 3 years, and hopefully we'll get to serve again this year. And then we've offered to pick up the voucher, and like Coco said, it's usually Rita that picks up the voucher, and we go buy the food, and then we cook and serve at wakes and funerals when we're requested. We've ordered flowers and plants for loved ones of our members' families. We've held prayer meetings for several families with ill loved ones because they've requested our presence, so we've been to prayer meetings. We've held fundraisers when requested to raise money for families. One of our members lost her home in a fire, and we had a fundraiser for her. And we're planning another one for a fundraiser for a family who requested assistance with medical bills. And then we were requested by Lucas Taylor to host the hospitality room at the March Madness basketball games and other basketball games. We had a Zoom meeting with Chief and Second Chief regarding concerns by citizens who requested assistance from the Lady Legends. They voiced their concerns, and so we asked for a meeting with Chief and Second Chief, and they were gracious enough to have a Zoom meeting with us and go over these concerns. Then we were requested by Dr. Monty Randall to cook and serve at the Sons of Mvskoke banquet. We served at the Haskell Bacon ball game. We participated in the Creek Festival parade. And during Christmas, we sang a Creek song at the annual meeting of the Creek Nation Natural Resources Conservation meeting. We attended the Rock Your Native Vote rally in Oklahoma City. And now we're contemplating becoming a 501(c) organization and get more organized. And we will be playing in the over 60 basketball game we've played the past 4 years, and we'll be playing again on April 15th at 6:30. So come and watch us.
Where is it going to be at?
I believe it's going to be at the Brock Gymnasium.
Okay. April 15th at 6:30. All right. I'll be there. Come cheer y'all on.
We're good. We need cheerleaders. And we're also going to be hosting the March Madness this Friday. And at our, we decided last night that at our 606 that we would do like an honoring one of our Creek students that played in the state tournaments, and their team won, and Sapulpa 5A, when Staley Hurd, and everybody's heard of Staley Hurd, she made the last 2 points and the one point over winning against Hall and Hall.
Oh,
so she's one of our own, and we want to kind of honor her. I was looking for the spotlight her, yeah. And so her grandmother, Marilyn McClellan, plays on our team, our Lady Legends also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you guys, y'all do a lot for the tribe and the citizens and everything. It seems like y'all stay busy year round, helping out in whichever way you can, whether it's serving food or praying or, being there to support people. So what do you think of like that responsibility? Like how do you feel about having that?
I think we feel like that it's really an honor. We didn't think that when we organized, we didn't know how far this would reach. We just organized just to, as seniors, coming together. Some of us are retired, some of our ladies still work. And we just didn't realize the need that was out there. And once our word got out that we would do the services and do wakes, and we just offered ourselves, do you need help? And a lot of them did need help. They didn't even know what to do for a wake service or a funeral. So our ladies have connections, out in the community. And so I think we stayed so busy. When we reflect back upon everything that we've done, we are a service to the community, and it's in our heart to do that. I mean, this is Women's History Month.
Yes.
And we are a product of our mothers and our aunts and our grandmothers. And we didn't realize that. They were our mentors. They didn't know they were our mentors, whether they be church leaders or behind the scenes cooking. Humba the High is always stand behind the scene. And they're not recognized. We want to recognize them as our Mvskoke women, matriarchal. And we want to honor them this month. And, I see my mother. I was telling the girls yesterday, I was cooking wild onions for a friend of ours. And I felt my mother, because during the season, she loved it. She loved to pick, she loved to cook, she loved to serve the family, and the house smelled like onions. And I felt Mom so strong. And I said, Mom, you're loving it. I know you're here with me. You're loving the smell. You're loving to see your daughter in the kitchen doing what you did, So these ladies, every one of us do stuff, whether it be cooking in the church. They are the foundation that holds up anything in the home, in the church, ceremonial grounds, communities.
Okay. And so, Coco, I'll ask you first. What does it mean to you to be a Mvskoke woman?
It is an honor to be one. I am 75 now, and I just, a lot of people kind of frown on their ages, but I'm proud to be 75 years old and able to help the community to, in any way possible. The basketball is just our little form of recreation for us. That's really only recreation we have that we do each year. But doing the other stuff, serving our communities, our people, our tribe, that is our main point. And like I said, it's just a labor of love that we enjoy doing. And, we hope to do it in the years to come as long as we're around. So that means an awful lot to not just me, but to all of us, too.
Right. And Roseanne, what does it mean to you to be a Mvskoke woman?
My grandmother and my mother, we were a full-blood Creek. And so I'm carrying on the legacy. My mother was really active, Grandma was really active, and so I don't like to sit still. I know a lot of us don't. We're very active, not only in the community, and this Lady Legends just fit right in my plan. I just love it. Because Rita keeps us, active. People call her and, will request our services for different things. And so everybody just jumps in, well, I'll do this, I'll do that. We all just gel together. And it's really an honor to be a Mvskoke woman. I really am proud of that. And I have many relatives out there that, have complimented our group because, they know that we're, like Coco said, we're ready, willing, and able. If somebody can't be there because of something going on in their family, well, somebody else jumps in. So we've got many activities that we are participating in, and we're loving it. And I love the ball game. The first year I didn't participate, I hid. But after that, I didn't get to participate last year because of my illness, but I'm going to get out there this year. So, yeah, and people, we have a good time. We don't care if y'all laugh at us. We have a good time.
Yeah, well, that's all that matters. Okay, well, that's good. And yeah, y'all, even with like myself personally, with my family, you guys have, helped out with my grandma's funeral last year. And then I've also been able to see you guys in the community. I was here for the Indigenous Day, and I saw you guys serving and everything. And so, just being able to be out there and be servants to people recognize that and see that, and you're setting an example, to the younger generations also. Okay, and so for the Lady Legends, how is there, if somebody wants to join you guys that isn't a part of it yet, what do they do?
They just contact us, and right now they can either contact me at Yeah. 839-600-8605. And I'm also on Facebook, so they could also, they could call Coco at the tribe with the language program. I would like to mention one thing. We did lose one of our lady legends during the COVID year of November of 2020. And she started out with us. We did cornhole. We did some kind of activities. She was right there with us. And that was a devastation to us. So we honored her that next year.
And how many people do you have that are with you guys right now?
I think when we play ball, we can get probably anywhere up to 20. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we usually kind of start out slow, and but this year we are asking that if they want to play with us, contact us, and we're also on Facebook, and we probably will have 3 practices at least, but they must attend 2. They must attend two practices. So that's, to play. That's the qualifications for Lady Legends, yeah.
And y'all's Facebook page is Mvskoke Lady Legends,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And so I know you guys have the basketball game coming up, and you said that y'all are cooking for the March Madness this week. Do you guys have any other events that y'all are doing anytime soon?
Well, one thing that we're really looking at doing, and this is with Barbara, Barbara, one of our Lady Legends, Barbara O'Neill, she came up with this, sit down volleyball. Mm-hmm. And I think Eufaula Community is doing it. The Choctaw Nation has been over there with them. And now I think Mvskoke Indian Community Elders, they're doing that. And that's a form of exercise. We just kind of want to be all-rounded and seeing some things that we could do as far as activity, just keeping us, mobile and together. We enjoy it better if we can do it together.
Right, okay. That sounds fun. I haven't heard of that before.
Yeah, yeah. And also, too, CRND has also advertised at the communities about our Lady Legends. So anything that we can do to get the announcement out there to come and join us, we are, we're willing for them to come and help us.
Okay.
Join us.
Do y'all have, monthly meetings that y'all do, or?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have monthly meetings, and we have our officers, and we have our members that show up for each meeting, and we have a little luncheon, or we bring our own food, and we exchange gifts when we have those meetings. We bring gifts for each other. And one thing I would like to mention about our basketball when we play is that we've tried to get other teams to come and play against us, but we usually can't get them, so we play each other, but we play just for the fun of it. Mm-hmm. We're not out there for blood. We don't try to kill each other.
Maybe not. Oh, yeah. I know how Rita is. She plays dirty.
But I just wanted to mention that because we do have amputees. We have one lady out there that's had open heart surgery, and she'll get out there and play with her cane. She'll dribble and have her cane in one hand and basketball in the other. And we try to set rules where we don't just crowd them when we guard them, because we don't want nobody to get hurt on the court.
Right.
So it's not out for blood. It's just for fun of the game.
Right. Okay. And then what are some of the ways that you uphold traditions?
Well, one thing tradition is we make traditional Indian foods when we cook. Jadahaga, grape dumplings, sakonipke, sour cornbread, stuff like that. Sofki, yeah. And Rita, can you think of something?
Yeah, we have a language speaker here. She speaks fluent Creek, and that's why she's part of the language program. And so, that tradition or culture is in our blood. And so that's one area. And the other thing is, too, is we connect, too, with, as far as culture is concerned, I camp down at Arbika Ceremoniagram. And that's one way of teaching our grandchildren about what it is to shake shells, why the ribbon's on the skirt, what we do, why they take, go inside and take medicine, why they fellowship like that, like that. And the story is, the churches kind of depict the camp houses and then the bell and then the church and then the women's leaders in the church and then the deacons. So whenever you look at that symbolically, a lot of our people, whenever they get old, elders, or they can't participate anymore, they're a part of the church still yet today. So, we combine that too. We try to keep a culture alive with grandmothers, grandparents, great-grandparents, and that's very important to us as ladies, is to share with them what our elder mothers did and what our grandmothers, those stories that are that we hear, and we share that with our grandchildren.
Right, yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I wasn't brought up in the traditional way of the ceremonial grounds. I was brought up in church, and that was my grandmother, and my mother's legacy. And so that I carry on. I have been a women's leader at one time, and I now go to a church where it's more modern. We don't have the traditional women leaders, but I'm very active in my church and Sunday school teacher and church secretary, and I serve as a treasurer for Our Lady Legends. We have our officers, and we're trying to get better organized. And but I do carry on my traditions from my grandma and my mother.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's a big part of, being matriarchal anyways is a part of our culture. So just having, being in those positions where we can lead others and, teach the next generation and, just be there and help, guide our families through everything. So, okay. And I know we're coming to the end of the hour here, so is there anything else that you guys want to add, talk about, events coming up? I know whenever you said you play 6-on-6 for the basketball tournament, and then you do the cooking for the event, and just to reiterate, and if anybody wants to request you guys for an event or something, they can just reach out to you on Facebook, Mvskoke Lady Legends, or they can call Coco at Language or Rita at, what was your number again? 839-600-8605. Okay. Yeah. And I'd like to shout out happy birthday to my grandson. He's 21 years old, Yaha Williams. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Okay. Well, all right. I appreciate you all coming and speaking with us and sharing, and good luck and on the upcoming basketball games and everything. So we appreciate you, Mado.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, she does such a wonderful job on that. I want to thank you for having those folks in. We appreciate it. We've got a few announcements here. We're going to wrap up the program and try and do a little public service here. Okay, Kayla, why don't you start off there?
Okay, so coming up March 26th through the 29th, we have the Spring Revival at the Belvin Baptist Church. They're going to have supper starting at 5 p.m., evening services at 6:30, and Sunday night they're going to have Reverend Junior Pratt speaking. Also, April 3rd, from 6 to 9 p.m., there's an intertribal hymn singing, and if you want more information on that, you can email raineaton@ou.edu. We also have the April Discover Bible offering the Native New Day Bible Studies. It's a 30-day lesson series that's done by correspondence. That's going to begin at March 15th, today actually. You can contact the Discover Bible School through mail at P.O. Box 14208 in Tulsa, 74159.
Okay, shall I throw in a few wild onion dinners? Okay. Where shall we start? March 18th, coming up. Wild onion dinner at the Mary Lee Clark United Methodist Church. That's 1100 Howard Drive in Dell City. Also on the 18th, from 11 to 5, Wild Onion Dinner fundraiser for Claudia McHenry at the Okema Indian Community in Okema. Also on the 18th, Wild Onion Dinner at Tlaptlaco United Methodist Church, and I don't have any information on that. One more on the 18th, Wild Onion Dinner at the Tulsa Indian United Methodist Church, and that's 1901 North College, and that's in Tulsa. That used to be my folks' church there. One more on the 18th, big cassette, and no further information on that, but I could imagine from 11 to 3 there.
Okay, and then just a reminder that the Summer Youth Employment Program is still taking applications until March 31st. So if you have any youth that's between the ages of 16 and 21, you can reach out to the Employment and Training Office at 918-732-7744 to get their application in to work this summer.
Okay, moving on to April, a couple of more wild onion dinners, and that might be it for the season. On the April 1st, dinner at Springfield United Methodist Church. That's North 3810 Road in Okema. And finally on April 22nd from 11 till they run out, and that's an ugly word, run out. Angie Smith Memorial United Methodist Church, 601 Southwest Grand Boulevard in Oklahoma City. So it seems like the Methodists are really getting after it this year. Got any more there?
Yeah, I have a couple more things. They have they're doing the Connect to Disconnect ribbon skirt making March 23rd and 30th at the Okema Indian Center. And that is for ages 16 to 24. We've also got the Creek Singing event tomorrow night at 6:30 at the Okmulgee Nutrition Center. And then Friday, they're having an Indian taco sale at the Okmulgee Indian Community Center. And that is going to be from 11 to 2 p.m. And it is for raising money to go to the NICOA conference in North Carolina. Next week, we also have March 22nd through the 24th, the Oklahoma Tribal Finance Consortium Spring Conference, and that's going to be at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort.
Okay, anything else on that list?
Let's see. We have, I don't, if anybody hasn't already participated, but this week, the Mvskoke Nation Light Horse Tribal Police Department is doing their Youth Police Academy. And TANF is also doing their spring break camp in Tulsa.
Okay, let's see what else is on our list here. Spring revival at Belvin Baptist Church. Supper and evening services, Reverend Junior Pratt. April 3rd from 6 to 9, intertribal hymn singing. For more information, email raineaton@ou.edu. March the 15th, April Discover Bible is offering Native New Day Bible Studies, 30-lesson series that's done by correspondence. So get a hold of them at P.O. Box 14208 in Tulsa, 741-59-1208.
On Friday, March 24th, at the Mvskoke County Fairgrounds, they're also going to have an urban agriculture gardening workshop. So that's going to be through the Conservation District, and if you want to RSVP for that, you can call 918-549-2609. That sounds like it'll be a fun, good and informative event. The Elders Mvskoke Language Storytelling event is also going to be happening on Saturday, April 1st from 11 to 3 at the Okmulgee Indian Community. So if you want to come out and listen to some fluent speakers, share stories, and just talk in the language, be sure to come out to that. March 25th, there's also going to be the Mvskoke hymn singing with a dinner afterwards at the First Indian Baptist Church of Moore. That address is 2610 South Broadway Avenue. And then April 29th from 8 to 3 at the Tulsa Creek Indian Community, they're going to have a Spring Fling Arts and Crafts sale, and they're looking for vendors. So if you want to be a vendor, you can come on out. It's going to be $10 a table. All vendors will have to fill out the MCN vendor sales license application beforehand. But if you want more information on that, you can call 918-298-2464.
You've been listening to Mvskoke Radio. Join us again next week for more local, tribal, and community news and updates. Mvskoke.